If you don't pay right now, I'll throw you out myself, the manager shouted across the crowded lobby, his voice sharp enough to cut through the clinking glasses and soft piano music. Laughter followed, cold, careless laughter. At the center of it all stood a frail old man in a worn gray coat, his trembling hands clutching a small leather wallet that looked older than most of the guests in the room. His head was bowed, not in guilt, but in quiet endurance. And no one, not the manager, not the guests, not even the security guard stepping closer, had the slightest idea who he really was. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of humility, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. The old man's name was Samuel Reyes. At 78, his back was slightly bent, his silver hair thin and neatly combed, and deep lines framed his eyes that had seen both crushing hardship and extraordinary success. That evening, he had walked slowly into the Grand Aurora Hotel, a place known for luxury and exclusivity. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling like frozen stars, and the marble floors gleamed beneath the polished shoes of wealthy guests. Samuel's shoes, however, were scuffed and dusty. His coat, though clean, was outdated. To most eyes, he looked like someone who had wandered in by mistake. Samuel had not come for luxury. He had come for memory. 45 years earlier, on that very property, there had been a modest family-owned inn. It was where he and his late wife, Isabella, had celebrated their honeymoon. They had been young and poor, but deeply in love. They had promised each other that one day, when life allowed, they would return to celebrate their 40th anniversary in the same place. Life, however, had been unkind. Isabella had passed away from illness 10 years before their 40th anniversary. Samuel never returned until now. The inn had long been demolished and replaced by the towering Grand Aurora Hotel, now managed by a man named Ricardo Velasquez. Ricardo was in his early 40s, impeccably dressed, ambitious, and fiercely protective of the hotel's elite image. He had built a reputation for efficiency and strict standards. To him, appearances mattered more than anything else. Samuel had approached the front desk quietly and requested a table at the hotel's fine dining restaurant. The young receptionist hesitated but complied. He was seated near a window overlooking the city lights. As he studied the menu, his fingers brushed against the old photograph tucked inside his wallet, a picture of him and Isabella on their honeymoon, smiling in front of the original inn. He ordered a simple meal and a glass of the house's finest wine. It wasn't about extravagance, it was about honoring a promise. When the bill arrived, Samuel opened his wallet and realized that the cash he had brought was not enough. His pension had been delayed, and he had miscalculated the cost. He calmly asked if he could return the next morning to settle the remaining balance. His voice was soft, dignified. Ricardo happened to overhear. Within moments, the manager strode across the restaurant floor, his expression tight with irritation. He demanded payment immediately, accusing Samuel of attempting to dine without sufficient funds. Guests turned their heads. Whispers spread like wildfire. Samuel tried to explain, offering his watch as collateral, even suggesting he leave his identification until morning. Ricardo refused. To him, allowing an exception would weaken his authority. Then came the threat, the one that silenced the room. If you don't pay right now, I'll throw you out myself. Laughter erupted from a nearby table. A few guests shook their heads in disapproval, but none intervened. The security guard stepped closer, uncertain but obedient.